Okay, to answer the question above, one thing we need to understand is that salvation isn't granted to humans as a result of their good works. This is taught everywhere in the Bible. If you could earn your salvation by your good works, then there was no reason for Jesus to come and die, because we humans know how to do good works without being taught how to. If we could be good enough on our own, the cross would have been a meaningless tragedy rather than a necessary sacrifice. Even someone who doesn't believe in God knows how to live a really good and moral life. That is why when someone turns away from their evil works and embraces God's means of salvation, God grants him access to salvation permanently. Mind you, every action also has its consequences, both good and bad. Being in Christ doesn't invalidate that, but most times the consequences of those actions are not implemented by God himself. Sometimes he implements it himself, just like he did to Moses. Explaining this further, let's say a Christian was caught in the act of theft. The person would bear the full consequences of such actions. Being saved does not exempt the person from that. Did God like the fact that the person committed such acts? No. But would God abandon the person or withdraw the person's salvation because of that? No. Using Samson as an example, when Samson vividly broke God's law and had to pay for his actions, God didn't make him stop being a judge to Israel. So long as he was alive, he was still an Israeli judge. Did God approve of Samson's action? No. Another thing about bearing the consequences of your action is that even in that situation, God will not forsake the believer that truly turns to him. Samson was bearing the consequences of his action, but God was still with him despite it all. So if you are suffering as a result of an action you may have committed, know that although God may not take out the problem, he most certainly has not forsaken you. Most times he will give you the strength to bear it all without breaking.